Hello beings, existences, and non-existences. Today I am here with episode 4 of my non-human experience. This is a series where I talk about my non-human and generally just ultra-human experiences. That being said, these are all my personal experiences, and I also feel like I kind of have to acknowledge that I do struggle with my mental health, which does play into my experiences. If you don't know who I am WestWindPaws on YouTube, and you can call me Zephyr or Finch. So yeah, I think let's just get into the first day of this week. So today is Monday, April 14th, and yeah, I usually start filming these, on Sundays, but I was busy talking to my friends last night, and I just didn't really get around to doing it, so, nothing eventful really happened anyway, so here we are. To be honest, really nothing specifically today has happened. However, I would like to point out that I've been feeling very much like a dragon recently. Obviously, this isn't weird for me. I am a dragon, but, I think it kind of is good to talk about these things. It's where it's like, sometimes I feel more like one being than another. And I think that's something a lot of other, non-humans experience. Non-humans, mainly talking about, just anyone who identifies as something other than human. Usually my predominant, species is a wolf, and I feel like that is still the case. But secondary to that, I have been feeling very dragon-like, which has been very nice. I typically have a lot of, envisage and phantom shifts when I feel like a dragon. I've actually only had, a handful, or a pawful rather, of mental shifts as a dragon, which is really interesting to me. But other than that, there's really nothing to report on for today. However, I wanted to talk about how I am questioning some fiction kin types. So I am currently questioning, I think, 5 kin types. So I'm questioning Chihiro from Danganronpa. Excuse my pronunciation if that's bad, by the way. I'm not entirely sure. JD, or Jason Dean from Heathers, specifically the musical, Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon, and I'm questioning if I'm also a snake. I don't know. And then I'm still questioning if I'm Mr. Wolf from The Bad Guys as well. However, in my questioning for Chihiro and JD, I'm not entirely sure about those, because I am currently very obsessed with Danganronpa, so that could be part of it, and that does happen to me sometimes where I'm just like, I get really excited about, a show, and I'm like, oh, that actually might be them. I might be that character, so, we don't know about that. And then kind of a similar situation with JD, I was just really obsessed with Heathers for, a couple weeks, so there's a good chance there's some of that too, but I don't know. I feel kind of similar to how I feel about Blitz from Hell of a Boss, which is my current fictional kin type that, I know about. So maybe, I don't know. But I'm just gonna keep thinking about it, let it simmer, and see how that goes. As for the snake thing, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I feel like I might be a snake. I'm just not really sure why I feel like that. Not that I need to know. I mean, I could just be a snake and just be chill with that. I have referenced in the past in one of these videos, I think in the first video actually, that I felt like I was having a phantom shift, where I had a cat muzzle, and it kind of felt like I had snake fangs, but I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just that's just cat fangs, but maybe it was a snake. I don't know. The thing with the fictional what are they called? Fictotypes, I think that's what they're called, that I'm questioning. 3 of them are perceived as human, which is interesting because I'm not human in any way. I made a post about this on Tumblr. I was like, would it, I'm considering, 3 characters that are human, or perceived as human. but I'm not human. So how can I be those characters if they are human? But it's like, I guess it could be a thing where it's like, I'm not necessarily the exact same as Blitz. You know, we're different. Yes, I am Blitz, but that's not, like, I'm not the same as who he is, like, in the, like, canon universe. Like, I'm also, like, I can basically reject them being human because I am them as a character, but not as a species, if that makes sense. I think that's all I have to talk to you about for today. So I'm gonna end this one off here, and I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday. Yippee! Alright, so today is Tuesday, April 15th, and yeah, really nothing happened today. I had some pretty intense phantom shifts from my dragonkin type, which is, you know, whatever. I typically experience phantom shifts from that kin type. I experience, like, different types of shifts or no shifts depending on what kin type it is. So, like, you know, dragon, it's typically a lot of envisage and phantom shifts. I get quite a few cat mental shifts. Yeah, and dog shifts as well, like mental shifts. Since I don't really have anything to talk about, we're gonna answer some questions. And that question is, how did you realize you identify physically as a wolf? Or, like, how did you awaken as a physical, like, non-human? And my answer to this is, I don't really know. It's something that I've just kind of always known, I guess, in the back of my mind. Like, I know that I've never been human. And once I learned that you could identify physically as an animal, like, that was a thing that was a part of therianthropy and just something that literally is a thing. I was like, yeah, wait, that's me. I'm not physically human. For a lot of beings on here that identify physically as non-human, it's usually like oh, well, my mind, like, I'm a fox, this is my body, so this is a fox's body, for example. And, like, yeah, that's, like, kind of how I feel, but for me, it's more so in a literal way, where it's like, I literally am physically not human. Like, I'm literally a wolf, in the sense where I have a wolf's blood, and wolf's bones, literally, a wolf's DNA, literally. And I even believe myself to have some features of theriform wolves, while not looking fully like a theriform wolf. And, you know, of course, I have a different level of sapience than a theriform wolf, and I acknowledge that. So I think it's just something I've kind of always known, whether I was acknowledging it or not. I did used to believe, due to the misinformation, that therianthropy is strictly a non-physical identity, when in reality it is not. You know, physical therians exist. I'm right here. And I would like to say that, yes, there is always a possibility that my beliefs about my biological body are rooted in delusion. Just wanted to, you know, throw that out there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say on that topic, and all I have to say for today. So I will see you for Wednesday. Alright, so today is Wednesday, April 16th, and really not a lot happened today. I've been reading White Fang by Jack London, because it was assigned to me at school. Not the specific book, but, like, I chose to read it because we had to read a book. And I chose it because it was, you know, it's about a wolf, and I'm like, well, I'm a wolf, and maybe I'll relate to this in some way. And actually, I have been relating to it a lot, which is really nice. Now, if you haven't read White Fang, you might want to skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp to when I'm like done talking about it. Just for some like kind of spoilers. They're more just about like the general story, but in case you don't want to hear it, just skip forward a bit. So, in the book, White Fang is being passed from human to human to human, and now I haven't finished the book yet when filming this. I'm sure I actually might by the time this is posted. We'll see. Crossing my fingers. And I've been so conflicted, I guess, because like in a way, like I do relate to White Fang a lot, feeling aggressive and alone, isolated, like different from everyone else, even your own kind. And it also just makes me so upset because of the way that he is domesticated. Now, he's also very abused, which is probably a part of why I get so uncomfortable and, dare I say, irrationally angry. I mean, no, I think the anger's pretty justified, actually, but I just feel so angry that, he gives himself up to the humans, even though it's like, I understand it, because it's like, well, that's, it's in his nature, it's the way that he is, and it's like, I don't know. I've said this before, but I essentially feel like a domesticated wolf just because I've been raised in human society. And so I think it's just made me think about a lot of stuff. And so today I felt very wolf-like and very, I would say cautious around, my peers. And like walking home, I was just like, I was on the side of the road, like being very fearful of everything and just very, very cautious of everything. So it was definitely an interesting experience. And even though I had stuff to talk about today, I would actually still like to answer a question from the non-human / ultra-human questions that I've been asked, because I wanna. So the question is, I'm looking down because I'm reading it off of my iPad. On a level, do you still understand you aren't fully an animal and are physically human? Or do you feel physically like an animal, but know you're human still? So this is a kind of a tricky one, because I am not physically human. I'm not biologically human either. No, I don't know that I'm still physically human. However, I do acknowledge the fact that I am perceived as human. I look visually human. That goes for myself and others, though I do believe myself to have physical traits of theriform wolves. And I also have a human level sapience. I believe there's something with me genetically that is the reason I have this sapience and this appearance, and I believe that might have something to do with being born from humans, but I'm still theorizing about that, and honestly I might never know, and that's kind of weird to think about, but I think it's just something I have to accept. Yes, I still know I'm a human in appearance and sapience, but in biology, physically, mentally, emotionally, literally every other way, I'm not human. So, I don't know if that really answers that. I think it does, but yeah. And that is all I have to talk about today. See you tomorrow. Alright, so today is Friday, April 18th, and I did not film yesterday because I was at my other house and I forgot my microphones here, so I was not able to film. I am filming today, and I don't really want to be honest. So, my apologies, but I am going to make this a little bit of a shorter segment, and I'm just going to answer some short questions, because I have quite literally nothing remarkable to talk about from my daily experience today. So yeah, I'm just going to answer those 3 questions. The first question is, would you label yourself as a wolf? The answer is yes. pretty short answer there, but yes, I do label myself as a wolf. Now, yes, as I stated earlier in this video, I do acknowledge that I have the appearance and sapience of a human, but in all other ways I am a wolf, and I would like to be referred to as a wolf. And if someone isn't comfortable referring to me like as a wolf, after I've told them about this, as long as they don't refer to me as human, I'm totally chill. I am generally fine with like being called a person or like, anything like that. Just like specifically human, not a huge fan of. So yeah, I do label myself as a wolf. The next question is, do you do human tasks? And yes, I do. I go to school, I, walk on my hind legs, or 2 legs. I, shower. So yes, I do. I don't live like a terraform animal would. How do beings at your school react to this? Beings at my school don't know about this. Generally, I keep my non-humanity and alter-humanity pretty secret. Not necessarily secret. Like, if someone were to ask me if I was human, I would tell them no. Depending on who asked me. Obviously, there are some beings that I would not want knowing that. But yeah, they don't know. Only a couple of beings I know in real life actually know about my YouTube channel at all, and out of those beings, maybe like 2 know about like what I post. So yeah, to give a final answer on that, they don't know about it. And yeah, I know this has been a shorter segment, but I'm just really not in the mood to film. I'm actually really tired. It's been a long day. That is it for today, and I will give another final update tomorrow. Alright, so today is Saturday, April 19th, and I don't know, really nothing happened today. I was outside doing an egg hunt with my family for Easter. We don't like celebrate Easter in like a religious way, just like the secular version of Easter, I would say. But we did like an egg hunt, and it was like getting weirdly possessive and defensive over my eggs and being like, no, these are mine, like, back off, these are my eggs. And I wanted to like growl at everyone. But again, since I have really nothing to report on from my day today, I thought I would talk a little bit about my species transition like plans, or I guess just ideas at this point. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do all of these, just, kind of what I have in mind. The transition is more of like a social one for me and like an appearance one, because I'm not transitioning into something that I'm not already. It's kind of like my gender like transition, like as a transmasculine being. Like, I am a man, well, ish. I'm not a man, but like I'm masculine, and like already, but I would like to change my appearance and how I'm referred to socially to reflect that. So that's kind of similar, with my like species transition plans. Another thing to note is that my gender and species identities are very intertwined, so is the like transition plan that I have. So the first one is permanent fangs. I want to get like fangs, or more correctly called like canine teeth, onto my current canine teeth, to make them longer and pointier. Not too pointy though, I don't want to be able to like hurt myself with them, but just want to make them more wolf-like. Another one is top surgery. And I may be like, hey, that's a gender thing. It can be a species thing too, if I want it to be. And then maybe some body hair. But I already do have body hair, so I'm not like, I don't know. But I might want to do like testosterone or some sort of hormone thing. but I have to look into that a little bit more since I don't have the most knowledge about it. I want to get paw tattoos on my front paws and my back paws, but I might not do that on at least my front paws or my hands, because I know tattoos can interfere with work related things. So like, and I'm worried that with the job field I want to go into, like, I would be seen as unprofessional. So that might not be an option. And I also know that like your palms and like the soles of your feet are very sensitive. So maybe not, but we'll see. I want to always or almost always wear a tail. Obviously, there are some times where I wouldn't. Like if I'm showering, obviously, not the best time for that. And then I know if I'm sleeping too, like I don't necessarily want to wear a taxidermy tail, and I don't like the feeling of like anything restricting while I'm sleeping, so probably not while I'm sleeping either. I want to grow my claws or my nails out. Although I have a tendency to like bite my nails, so I might do acrylics, but maybe not. We'll see about that. And then I want to dye parts of my mane or like my hair, thinking like black, keeping some of my natural brown hair gray, and then like a reddish tan. These like kind of in, you know, different parts of my mane, just so that, I don't know, it's kind of, you know, more wolf-like, how like a typical wolf's fur would look. I want to do like dog nose makeup. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I can put a picture up though. But that's obviously a more temporary thing, and I don't think I do that every day, but I do think it looks really nice, and I don't know, I think I've done it a couple times and it's very euphoric. I want to wear collars a lot more. Even though I'm a wolf, like I consider myself to be more of a domestic wolf. I want to find fake ears that look how my ears are supposed to look. It's kind of hard to find ears that look how I want them to. And I also don't really like wearing headbands for that long, so those I would need to find some sort of alternative or just not wear them. And then this is kind of an appearance thing and then kind of like a lifestyle change, but I want to work out more and eat healthier. Working out more just to build like muscle and just general strength, honestly. And then eating healthier to help build that strength and to also just be healthier. And then some other stuff as well, just for like more lifestyle, like social stuff, would be to ask like others to refer to me as a wolf, or if they're not comfortable with that, just referring to me as non-human instead of calling me human. But this would only be for beings that are like close to me or like that I trust, you know. I want to eat out of dog bowls, but not like off of the floor, but like as using them like as bowls. So like eating my cereal, you know, out of a dog bowl, like with a spoon and stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool. But also that's more of like an aesthetic thing. But I don't know, I feel like I could consider that part of my transition plans. I want to eat more steak. I don't really like a lot of meats. I'm okay with like chicken and steak. Turkey and ham are pretty good too sometimes, but meat is generally not my favorite thing, but I do appreciate a good well-done steak. So I feel like that's something I want to eat more of to feel more carnivorous. And then I think the last thing on here is just like living in a forested area. I don't know if like many others would consider this like species transition, but I kind of do, because it's like, you know, living in my heart home, you know, or like my natural place where I should be. I feel like that would help me a lot mentally, so there's that. But that is all I have to talk about today, and all I have to talk about for this video. So I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any alterhuman or non-human related questions to ask me, feel free to do that in the comments. I'm always looking to answer questions. Please steer clear of questions about gear and quadrobics, as those are not necessarily part of alterhumanity and not something I would really like to focus on. I'm also always open to hearing about, you know, all of your experiences, so, you know, feel free to comment those as well if you would like. But with all of that being said, I hope y'all have a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!